to be educated, but I'm so frustrated.
All right, y'all, let's rewind back to them days, man. Minneapolis in the 1970s wasn't exactly the music capital of the world, you know what I mean? You had New York with hip-hop rising, LA with its rock and glam scenes, but Minneapolis, quiet. Yet beneath the surface, there was a hunger, a group of artists all trying to do something different. Enter a young Prince Rogers Nelson, not just a musician, but a visionary. Prince grew up surrounded by music. His dad was a jazz pianist and his mom was a singer. Prince's father, John L. Nelson, moved to Minneapolis from Louisiana in the 1940s, playing under the stage name of Prince Rogers, which eventually inspired Prince's own name. John was seeking better opportunities for his music career and ended up performing in local clubs around Minneapolis. Now, Prince's mother, Mattie Della Shaw, was actually born in Minneapolis in 1933. She was a jazz singer who met John Nelson when she joined his band, and they eventually married in 1957. The two were determined to make it in Minneapolis because at the time it was starting to emerge as a progressive city with a growing art scene. And Minneapolis was also known for offering opportunities to African-American artists despite the broader racial challenges of the era. Their decision to settle there laid the foundation for Prince's eventual upbringing in a city that, although not widely known for its music scene at the time, it became the birthplace of the iconic Minneapolis Sound Prince would later pioneer. But Prince wasn't just content with following in his mom and daddy's footsteps. He wanted to carve out his own lane, something entirely new, and that's exactly what he did. He took the funk of James Brown and George Clinton and flipped it, blending rock, pop, and futuristic synth sound. And one of his secret weapons was that dang Lindrum. Back then, drum machines were basic, but not in Prince's hand. He transformed it, creating crisp, robotic beats that felt so tight. Songs like When Doves Cry, that one, in 1999. These were groundbreaking, man, with hypnotic rhythms that didn't even need a bass line. This was something completely different. So, what was the Minneapolis Sound really? Well, it actually was a mix, a collision of R&B grooves, rock guitar flavors, snappy drums, and lush synthesizers. The production was stripped down, funky, and electronic, relying on those hard-hitting synthesized brass lines rather than the live horn section. And the processed drum beats, tight, funky, and robotic. Woven into everything were those slick James Brown-inspired rhythm guitar licks. Prince was the architect of this sound, but it started with his first band, Grand Central. This was where it all began for him, alongside Andre Cymone and Morris Day. The seeds of the Minneapolis Sounds were planted here. In 1981, The Time was formed, led by the charismatic Morris Day.
Time is it?
They embodied everything Minneapolis was about, polished, tight funk that could light up a dance floor. And let's not forget two of the most influential producers of all time, my man Jimmy Jam and my man Terry Lewis, and they were part of The Time. Prince brought them into this world, and their contributions helped shape the Minneapolis Sound even more. Now, you know, later they even refined it to the next level and launched Janet Jackson's career with albums like Control and Rhythm Nation. Man, that's nothing but pure Minneapolis funk. By 1984, Prince had taken the Minneapolis Sound to the world stage with Purple Rain. Not just the album, but the movie too. It was a phenomenon. When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, I Would Die For You. Each track was another slice of the electrifying sound. Minneapolis, once quiet with the sounds of crickets, was now on a musical map. This place, the First Avenue Club, became the epicenter of this culture. Prince and his peers performed there regularly, cemented it as one of the most iconic spots in the Minneapolis movement. This wasn't just about Prince, though. Artists like Vanity Six and Sheila E. were crucial pieces of the puzzle, too, expanding the reach of the sound. But don't get it twisted. The Minneapolis Sound didn't fade after the 80s. It's still alive today. Y'all better wake up and stop sleeping on groups like Mint Condition with Stokely Williams.
Rich and brown eyes, you know.
Y'all better go look them up. That is the definition of a band, man. And you hear that Minneapolis Sound and modern hits like Uptown Funk You Up by Bruno Mars. This is a callback to that 80s funk. And man, did they call it back. You can also hear it in a lot of the neo-soul and R&B. The blueprint that Prince laid down, man, is everywhere. This sound took everything we loved about funk and pushed it forward. Synthetic brass, crisp processed drums, and intricate guitar licks. While Prince was the center of it all, it became a community effort. The Time, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and the magic of First Avenue playing pivotal roles. The legacy of Minneapolis funk still reverberates in today's music. Its influence is unmistakable. Just listen to the grooves of modern pop. It all leads back to Minneapolis. Man, I remember those days. I think I was in my 20s, man. Everybody was trying to dress, dance, and even walk and talk like Prince, Mars Day in the Time. You know what I mean? You couldn't get away from it. And most of these guys are still around creating that funk. People like Jelly Bean Johnson, who used to hold that pocket down, man. Y'all listen to that 80s stuff. This dude right here, he was holding that drum pocket down in them live shows. By the way, Lizzo, who is a prominent figure in modern pop and R&B, she has a connection to the Minneapolis scene too. Although she was born in Detroit and raised in Houston, Lizzo moved to Minneapolis in 2011 to further pursue her music career. And for sure, her time in Minneapolis played a key role in her artistic development. Prince himself recognized her talent and even invited her to perform at his Paisley Park studios in 2014, solidifying her association with the Minneapolis music legacy. That's just how it goes down, man. That Minneapolis funk. Hey, man, I hope y'all appreciated that, and most of all, I hope you learned something from it. Feel free to comment and give me some suggestions and ideas about the next video. Or maybe just say something about this one first, and I'm going to check y'all out in the next one on the Music Mindset channel. I'm Mr. Mindset. Peace out.
Started it, followed the phone, second in the night.